Hello, just played loud Taavi here, and we're gonna talk about 1970 songs. This one, and I'm here with my co-host Andrew. Hello.
I
Like I mentioned in the previous one, it's the uh one of the, I guess, bigger things are uh Black Sabbath and introducing us heavy metal and in a bigger way. And I don't know, I guess it's the year of the Beatles solo albums. I just don't know what else to describe the year, honestly. Do you have something?
it's kind of the end of the era because like the Beatles broke up this year. Um,
Yeah.
we were talking off camera about Woodstock that had finished the year prior. There was a movie about that, kind of like encapsulating everything that had led up to this moment. And now it's like music is deciding where are we going from here. So you kind of get a lot of different kind of movements going on, and it's not as all like one thing like the psychedelia was in the '60s and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I just feel like some some of these songs that I have in my list are kind of like more feel like almost 60s more than 70s in some ways, but
I guess that's the thing we always have with these like the last year of a decade or the first year of a decade is they often have a lot in common with one or the other or both, and
yeah.
it's not as like a song from 1985, it's gonna have that like 80s vibe, but um 1970, like this is way before disco, you don't have that like definitive 70s sound yet. So
Yeah, true, true. And well, yeah, some of these songs have been recorded in like
yeah.
1969. So, yeah. So, but yeah, Andrew is gonna start with his five best singles of the year.
Yeah, and again, I feel like this is sound like a broken record. Another one of my favorite years. Probably more for the
Yeah,
deep cuts. I think that's something we're going to see more. Is uh, the deep cuts are getting stronger and stronger, and a lot of my favorites will be on that side. But for singles, we'll start with uh, Ohio from Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. This was a
mm,
standalone single they made a bit after they had the record with the four of them together, and it's pretty much a Neil Young song. One of his career highlights, I would say. Pretty direct protest message, has all the ingredients to pull it off musically. Sounds angry, like an angry folk rock song, and the rest of the group is nice in support. And number four, I have Immigrant Song, Led Zeppelin. And what's great about this is kind of the combination. It's like a legit, like furious rocker, but it's also like tight runtime, almost like a punk rock song would, like later on with the really short, fast pace. I always appreciate songs that can manage both. So it's a classic hard rocker, one of their big songs for good reason. And number three, I have Lola by the Kinks, kicking off their 70s uh, career with a banger, bringing back kind of their days of the cool guitar riffs. The song just sounds really good. It's really catchy, great tones to it. It rocks in the way that kind of harkens back to their early days. I'm not exactly sure what the perception is of the story of the song in like today's lens, but probably more nuanced than you'd think for like a song from this time, like over a half century old. So yeah. Number two, I have Memo from Turner, which is a Mick Jagger solo song. The Stones did a version of this too, but this was his version he used in the movie Performance, and it's just really cool. Maybe the slightest touches of like what would become like the glam rock sound. Just a really cool, kind of like Lou Reed attitude to it, and the slide work on it is really great. So yeah, check that song out if you kind of like the Stones at all. It's like another like classic kind of Stones type song. Number one, it's actually the biggest song of the year, Bridge Over Troubled Water, Simon Garfunkel. Title track to their final record, huge hit, award winning as well. I think it's deserved on all those fronts. Probably the most sentimental track in their catalog. They come kind of like a modern day standard, but what really puts it over the top is the big arrangement and incredible lead vocal from Art Garfunkel. When his vocal sections build in power, it really gets to another level. So yeah, those are my five singles picks from 1970.
Oh, very nice. And we have song in common here, at least so far. Um, yeah, again, this lineup is looking pretty strong. And my number five is Your Song by Elton John. It's a lovely ballad. Um, maybe his first truly great song, at least for me. And he will write many more. Just a lovely melody, and it's simple enough, but never boring. And yeah, my number four is a more uh, has a bit more energy than my number five. It's Cecilia by Simon and Garfunkel. This is a addicting little tune. I like all the elements of like there's like strumming guitar, and they're like banging some like piano stool, and they made it into a loop. It's so catchy and just a wonderfully melodic song. Number three is Another Year and Another Elvis. Uh, The Wonder of You by Elvis Presley. And yeah, this is a live song recorded in Las Vegas. Um, I love the orchestral elements of it, and just feel the vocal is so glorious and like he really nails these kind of grandiose songs during this time, and I think he's really peaking vocally for me. Number two is the song we have in common, Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon and Garfunkel. Yeah, this could be like number one in some other year. I feel like it won plenty of Grammys and it's covered by many artists, well, including Elvis, I guess. It's just the genius song with the superb Garfunkel vocal, and yeah, especially the ending is always like brings all the hair up and in my arms, and just a killer tune. But my number one is a Harrison solo song, My Sweet Lord. And what can you say? It's for me a masterful song, and also in production, co-produced by Phil Spector. Um, I love the Hare Krishnas that they keep singing, and it feels kind of personal, but also kind of like anyone can get into the feel of it and the message, and feels kind of uplifting too. And yeah, it's just love listening to My Sweet Lord. Yeah, that's my five singles.
Awesome. Yeah, probably a couple of those we could potentially consider for the billboard part of our video. So maybe they'll show up again. Who knows?
True.
For my deep cuts, we'll kick it off with another Kink song, actually, "Strangers." This is a
Mm,
Dave Davies song. He didn't write and sing nearly as much as his brother Ray, but he had a pretty good track record when he did, and this might be his best one. It's a really nice pop rock song, kind of like a folkish ballad, but it builds really nicely between the piano, the guitar, and the organ, and some nice drumming as well. My number four is from George Harrison, Beware of Darkness. There's a lot of excellent tracks on All Things Must Pass. I got to go with this one. Just a ridiculously gorgeous ballad. Wouldn't change a thing about it. Number three, I'm going back to the Beach Boys with Forever. A really sincere love song from Dennis Wilson. He's really breaking out as like a great songwriter of his own by this point. Beautiful melody and amazing harmonies as usual. My number two is going to be Sweet Jane by the Velvet Underground. Uh, it would be a single, but not till 1973, so we're considering it for the deep cut side. One of their signature songs, covered notably by other artists. Um, but yeah, we're considering it uh, in its original album context. It almost feels like the exact middle point of like the 60s pop and then the 70s glam rock. You kind of get a little bit of both of those things, classic riff, and especially that intro. It's really short, but the shimmering guitar on it sounds so good. And then lastly, I almost put in three Beach Boys songs, but I settled for two. Um, my number one deep cut is All I Want to Do. This track is something else. It's gotten more attention in recent years, but I remember this as this underrated gem that got buried in their catalog from when I first heard it, like 15, 20 years ago. Often credited as one of the first songs to like embody the dream pop kind of genre that would break out in the 80s and 90s. Probably some indie influence as well. But aside from the influence, I just think it's a really cool song. Pretty melodies and voices drenched in like this hazy atmosphere. So that's got to be my top deep cut pick.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, some in common here as well. Great picks. Number five, I have Maybe I'm Amazed by Paul McCartney. And Bo does it all in this one. Plays every instrument and produces it in his home studio. But yeah, to me, it's a pretty killer recording. Oh, almost feels like a normal studio recording, and and the song is really great. Um, like and yeah, Paul, I'm I'm sorry about the Get Back situation, but we are back on track now. Um, Number four, I have a Black Sabbath tune, uh, but not very Black Sabbath tune, I guess. Uh, Planet Caravan. This is pretty trippy and spacey. This even has like flute and congas to it, and it's such an oddity. And like it has nothing heavy about it, even like what you would expect from a Sabbath tune. But they sometimes did these kind of tunes like this and Solitude and some others. And yeah, it's just a cool song, really. Um, Number three is I didn't have last year. I didn't have any Doors, but I feel like I've been talking quite a bit, many the Doors songs in the series. But here I have another one, "Waiting for the Sun" from the Morrison Hotel album. This is just a great psychedelic rock song. This could have been on the uh, same titled album 2 years prior. Uh, but well, I don't know if they have. They recorded in '69, so it wasn't like I didn't know it was it like have they written the song then? I'm not sure, but like this just has a nice haunting quality to it. It's just a really memorable song. Number two, we have in common. It's "All I Wanna Do" by the Beach Boys. It's a great song. This feels like a just a like a dream. There's a dream-like quality to it. Uh, Mike Love sings the lead vocal. Really fits the song. It's such an experience, and I kind of love the lo-fi feel of it too. And it's just a really killer vibe they create. Number one is a long song by Deep Purple, Child in Time, inspired by Cold War. It's an anti-war song. I love the organ. Has kind of a haunting vibe to it. I also love the Richie's longer guitar solo in the middle. It's really awesome. And Ian Gillan's showing his vocal range with his screams. And I do love the song. Sometimes I'm in a sort of weaker moment. Uh, Sometimes like I can almost skip after the solo because it kind of goes to the it's similar to the first part, but like it's still a killer song. Um, and I love it a lot. But yeah, that's my five deep cuts.
Great. Couple matches for this year so far.
Yep,
And I guess that
sure.
takes us into the number ones of the year. Uh, I have to
Yep.
say, I do notice a difference already as we get into the 70s. It's not quite as consistent a factory of like one great song after another. So there are some
Yeah,
kind of cracks emerging on the quality
yeah,
front. Most of them for this year were still pretty good and haven't been
yeah.
lost to time or anything. So, except one, which I'll get into later. um, my number one pick is one I mentioned before, Bridge Over Troubled Water. Pretty
Mm.
straightforward
Yep.
decision for me because it was my top single already. Excellent vocal showcase, timeless song. And it also topped the year end, as I mentioned. So I'm right in sync with the public this time. It's probably one of the best year end number ones of any year from when I scanned through the list. So runner up would be
Yeah.
uh, George Harrison's My Sweet Lord. Tears of a Clown is also great. Everybody is a Star. A couple of Beatles songs. They're all pretty strong choices there.
Yeah. Um, I do love the Beatles songs here, especially Let It Be and uh, what was the other one? The Long and Winding Road. Uh, I love Diana Ross's Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Tears of a Clown, of course, I had it in another year, like 67. And yeah, so there's like multiple really great ones. And I just noticed there's many Jackson 5 songs that kind of, I was like, oh, another Jackson 5 song. They had like four, I think. Pretty wide. Um, but my pick is already something I talked about, a common theme with this favorite Hot 100 songs we already talked about, but it's My Sweet Lord by George Harrison. I don't think I have anything new to say, but like uh I'm just gonna say that's really cool that it was a number one single. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what is the like it's a great song, but like I'm not sure does it feel totally like a number one single in some ways. I don't know. Maybe it's like
Yeah. And
the religious vibe to it. I don't know.
it was like the last one of the year, right? Because I think it carries into 71 even.
Yeah, yeah, probably. I didn't check 71, but I'm guessing because it was like one. Yeah, it's 3 weeks in the 71
Yeah. So
January.
that brings us to the worst number one of the year. Uh, there wasn't
Yep.
really. too much of a question for me what the worst one was. It was Everything is Beautiful by Ray Stevens. I like a good sentimental song, but I think there's it's kind of over the limit with this one. I think I like kind of like a cloying, like maybe gospel-y type song, I guess. Ray's not much of a singer, and the children's choir doesn't really help it either. He does a lot of comedy songs, so this one's a little bit more straightforward than his others, but I don't think it's that great anyways. Uh, and the other ones we'll talk about for him later might surely be worse, but we'll get to that later. Um, but at least he made it an easy choice, so give him credit for that. I think probably if I had to pick something else, it might be, I guess, the Partridge Family or the Three Dog Night songs, but those I like those ones a fair bit more than Ray Stevens, so that's my pick.
Uh, yeah, I kind of like Ray Stevens. Like, not gonna lie, but um, so it's not my least favorite of the year. It's not great, but like, I kind of liked it. But my least favorite was the Three Dog Night song. Mama told me not to come. It's decent. Um, I feel like it's a bit repetitive and like and I feel like it's a little annoying, something about the vocals. So like it's a decent like rock song, but like nothing special for me. So I that's my
Yeah,
least favorite.
yeah, that could well have been my second choice. Um,
Yeah.
I hear that song a lot still, so maybe that I'm also tired of it. Whereas Ray Stevens, I
Oh,
never hear his song.
yeah, I'm not sure. Like I wasn't sure like have I heard honestly that Three Dog Night song. I didn't really recognize it. Um but yeah, that I feel like this was one of the weaker years probably. Billboard
Yeah,
of
like
it
there's
and
some really good songs, but just not as like consistently a set of
yeah,
great songs
yeah.
as before.
Like if we just
Um,
consider the peak of these Billboard songs, like the top five, it's really
yeah,
killer. But like the
yeah,
whole way through, not so.
right. Yeah. So that leads us to Song of the Year, and
Yep,
I'm going with Layla, Derek and the Dominoes. Going for the album version. Um,
yep.
Easily Eric Clapton's career peak for me. I think it's a really inspired choice to make like this like yearning love song. Also kind of a rocker. I think that's a really cool choice. Incredible slide guitar from Dwayne Allman, and I have to include that beautiful coda at the end in the album version. It's like another song almost altogether, but it's just like a really, really cool, and it builds too with like the all the other elements coming in at the end. So uh, it's just an amazing song.
For sure. And it's also my song of the year, Layla.
Yeah, nice.
I really had to think like, it's my song of the year this or My Sweet Lord. So close, but I decided to keep my song of the year that this has been quite a long time. Um, just find like yeah, there's the I also picked the album version, which has the both parts of the song. Um, and I think the second part is my favorite song, my favorite part of the song. And like I do really like the uh first rocking part. Um, Nothing wrong about it, but like it really builds up to that. And I love the slide guitar by Duane Allman and Jim Gordon on the drums, and Clapton is on fire too. Yeah, one of his best. work. And yeah, I also love this song in like Goodfellas,
Oh yeah,
how
for
they
sure.
use it. And yeah, it's really just a powerful song, Layla.
Now, is that our first song of the year match? I think it might be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
maybe we've only matched like favorite Billboard, British, or have
yeah.
we?
Yeah.
I'm thinking we are. But,
At least we can say it happened at least once now. So there's a consensus.
yeah, yeah. I wonder if it happens again. I don't know. Like, but maybe I don't know.
It's hard to do. Yeah. It's a hard thing to do. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's interesting
yeah.
because if we were going for the single version, we'd have to wait to include it next year. But
Oh, true.
because I
That's
think it didn't come out as
71.
a single until 71. But
Yeah,
yeah, the album version, get everything is already out there on the album. So yeah,
yeah, yeah, for sure. That was our 70 picks. Um, some really killer songs we talked about, and we want to hear your favorites in the comments. And yeah, see you in the next episode. And yeah, bye bye.